This is a mock interview conducted by ForumIAS Academy at New Delhi. The interview panel includes eminent professors, retired bureaucrats, and other luminaries. The objective of the program is to acquaint the candidate with the format and expectations of the personality test conducted by UPSC.
May I come in,
Come,
sir?
please come.
Good afternoon, madam. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Come, please sit down.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, how are you?
I'm good, ma'am.
Sameer, when is your interview?
12th March.
Oh, you already got it. Your brother has not got, you have got a date.
Yes, ma'am.
You're the elder brother. Are you under pressure?
He's my younger brother, ma'am.
But a younger brother. Are you under pressure?
No, ma'am.
Since both of you are there together?
No, ma'am. It's a good thing that we are preparing together this time. Last time I only qualified.
You qualified?
I qualified mains last year, so.
Acha, but you are, what, are you working?
Yes, ma'am. I'm working in
Where you
RBI. RBI.
Oh, it's not on your DAF? Where is it? I missed it. Where is it? Acha, you've done IDBI, RBI, everything. RBI since 2016 you've been working?
17.
Huh? You were in IDBI from 2016?
To 17 and then from 17 to till now in RBI.
Okay,
Yes,
you are
ma'am.
just the man. And where are you posted?
Navi Mumbai, ma'am.
Okay, you're posted in Mumbai only. And you're handling? What are you handling?
I'm in the data center of the bank, ma'am. Data center in Kharghar is there. Data center in Kharghar is there.
Acha.
So it operates the NEFT and RTGS. So I'm looking after those.
Okay. Why do they charge for these services? They should not charge.
This NEFT and RTGS?
There's a charge on it?
Yes, ma'am, there is a charge. RBI does not charge the banks, but the banks have a charge for that.
Why should they charge?
Yes, ma'am, they
electronic?
should charge because there is some supporting infrastructure that is required at their end also.
Like what?
They have to maintain the NEFT clearing houses. Now it is 24/7 now, so they have to maintain the staff also for that.
Okay. Tell me, why is Elon Musk suddenly singing India's praises? India should be in security, India should be this, India should be that. Why is he doing that?
And for one of the reasons is that he wants to set up the EV manufacturing unit in India, and he wants that he wants a plant to be set up here.
What is the status of his electric cars in India? Tesla?
Tesla is not still launched in India, ma'am, because there are some issues like he wants some.
That's what he wants.
Yeah.
Some guarantees and all.
Yes, guarantees.
That's what he wants. Okay. Now the DM of Shahjahanpur was transferred, very summarily and very humiliatingly. If you were in that position, what would you do? Are you aware of the matter?
Yes, ma'am. He was transferred because he was asked somebody to tie his shoelace. I think you mentioned.
No, he didn't do that. He was talking to the truckers who were agitating against that.
Yes, he told that about something nasty about these people.
So what do you think of that incident?
It's a very sad incident. Like a person who is occupying such an important position have to be very careful about the language they speak.
Okay, we'll discuss that. You've done sociology, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Before that, I'll ask you, what do you think of the Ayodhya temple? This big fanfare, this launch and all that. What do you think of that?
It is an important moment in the history, and from the social perspective, it is related to the sentiments of the large community, and it has this
built on the demise of a place of worship of another community.
Ma'am, question has already been settled by the Honorable Supreme Court. So they already given alternate site also.
Okay, so I want to ask you, how far back in history do you go to set right wrongs of the past? How far will you go? What does the law in India say today about this issue?
Law is the Places of Worship Act that whatever is the 1947 status, they have to maintain that. Okay. But the Ayodhya temple is exempted from that.
Because they did it after that. The act was found necessary to pass after they destroyed the mosque. So now how are they starting worship in the cellars of Gyanvapi? That Gyanvapi is also there from the time of Aurangzeb?
Ma'am, Supreme Court has said that it is as per the law
Analyze, Supreme Court is not the fountain of all wisdom.
to determine the religious character of a place is not covered.
What next after that? Character determine ho gaya. Phir kya hoga? The next step will come. Give a temple back to us.
There can be a movement.
This is all part of that ploy. Yes, anyway, okay. Now since we are on to Ram and you're such a votary of Ram, and you have done sociology, I feel constrained to ask you this question. You know Durkheim's theory of suicide?
Yes, ma'am.
You know which are they? Which are the 4 suicides?
First, altruistic suicide, egoistic suicide, anomic suicide, and fatalistic suicide.
Now, Lord Ram, Lord Lakshman, I'll simplify, I won't tell about the others who committed suicide, they all did. Which suicide which category of suicide do they come into?
I will consider them in the altruistic suicide. Because
Ram, why is Ram altruistic suicide? Why did he commit suicide?
I don't know the reason, but he was like, he was so attached to the community.
General. What is anomic suicide?
Anomic suicide is when there is a failure of regulation and to replace with a new system. So
you figure out for yourself, but it's not altruistic.
Okay.
Lakshman is altruistic.
Okay.
Okay. Now you have worked with child shelter homes and whatnot, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Now tell me the organizations that are involved in protection of children and the laws. Very briefly. Tell me three of each, if you know.
Ma'am, laws I will first cover. Firstly, the Juvenile Justice Act. Prevention of Children from Sexual Harassment Act is there. And third is the adoption rules are there.
Okay, very good. Very good.
And then about the second part is about the organizations. Firstly, the child welfare committees are there, and the juvenile justice.
Start from the
boards are
top.
there. Ministry of.
So start the organization, not the ministry.
National Commission of Children, Commission of Protection of Child Rights is there.
Correct.
First
Yes.
is there. Second is there. Second is the child welfare committees are there. Third, we have the child protection units in the states are there. And the fourth is CARA, Central Adoption Resource Authority.
Then, all right. Let me ask you something about Reserve Bank. What shall I ask? Your governor has been voted the best central bank governor. Why is that? What great thing has been done by RBI? Global best central bank governor?
He truly deserved the award, ma'am, because the way he handled the situation at the time of COVID, the whole Reserve Bank of India managed to contain the inflation as well as run the payment systems during the tough time when the global economy was faltering, but still India was able to get out of it.
But now you would say that he's not been able to control inflation.
Ma'am, the inflation is...
And don't say inflation is not much. Don't say that, please.
No, ma'am, inflation is within
It's on
the bracket
fire.
of...
It's on fire. And what is on fire? The prices of milk and vegetables, etc., which affect the poor.
Yes, ma'am, core inflation that related to food inflation is high.
That's what. So he has not been able to curb that inflation.
Ma'am,
And just holding the, it's do nothing syndrome. Just hold the interest rates. What about that? You have to do something active proactively. After all, RBI's original mandate is inflation, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Everything else is secondary. So what do you think of that?
Ma'am, these are all our supply side issues. RBI monetary policy has a drawback that it looks after demand side only. So supply side issues are there.
No, it can restrict money supply. Restrict money supply not only by rates, by CRR, SLR,
Yes,
by market operation, by all kinds of means. They did a special instrument in 2021.
Yes, ma'am, there's a special operation also.
So then they can be done.
That is why, ma'am, the rates have been held up.
No, they should have been brought down. Considering that growth is not there, nothing is there, it should have been brought down. Considering that demand is not there. Otherwise, there's too much money chasing too few goods, right?
Yes.
Classical definition of inflation. Anyway, all right, thank you. Please.
So, Sameer, you must have heard about Harda tragedy. Harda.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tragedy like that happened in Harda. If you are a collector of that particular district, Harda, what would you do to prevent such kind of activities in future?
I will do the following steps, sir. Firstly, sir, I will ensure that all the inspection of such facilities is done on time. Secondly,
What was the reason behind that tragedy, Harda tragedy?
Two predominant reasons were, firstly, the firecrackers were stored in excess amount. Secondly, space between the storage units and the manufacturing units were not there. Thirdly, it should be ideally be on the ground floor, but they were on the higher floors. So my steps will be the following. Firstly, the inspection of the places of all such places should be carried out on a proactive basis. If there are lacunas, things should be done on that regard. Secondly, sir, all these places should be kept outside the city limits, so that there is no loss of lives. Thirdly, the fire safety measures should be taken promptly in the district. Fire safety manual should be very much ready.
Okay. How would you deal with the nexus of police and the local firecracker workers? Because most of the time you are framing the policy, or government is framing the policy, most of the time it is having implementation lacuna, and we see that police personnel are involved in such kind of, there will be a nexus and they are being bribed, and after that everything is okay. How would you deal with this?
Sir, even if the rules are good, if the people are bad, they are not going to be implemented well. So yes, it is very important to deal with these issues. Following can be done, sir. Firstly, behavioral change among the police itself. Nobody can change them if they are not changed from within themselves. Secondly, whenever such incidents come to light, strict action should be taken against the concerned personnel. So that gives a message to the others that.
So strict action, like that particular person who is involved in that will be transferred. These are the strict action. Apart from that, they will be involved in such kind of activities again in the future. And most of the time you'll have to bear the pressure, or political pressure will be there. So how will you handle that?
Sir, first of all, the inquiry committee has to be made, if the inquiry committee finds them guilty, they should not only be transferred, they should be suspended, in fact, from the service, because that will give a right message to the others. And thirdly, all the people who are involved, even the politicians who are involved, about them the awareness should be raised among the people, so that they are not voted again.
All right. So bullet train is about to come. So as far as the bullet train is concerned, don't you think that is a wastage of expenditure? Why don't we work on the existing infrastructure of the railways, in spite of introducing this entire new bullet train?
So the bullet train is starting in the Mumbai-Ahmedabad route, and the train has been started after looking after the economics and the projected demand. So I think it is justified to have a bullet train projection for now. Secondly, second part of the question about the existing infrastructure, the government is taking a lot of steps to improve the infrastructure. I will just cite an example of the Vande Bharat mission and the Kavach for this train protection. So both the things are parallelly required to be done.
So bullet train is not for super rich people or elite class of persons. Rather than we should work on the people who are moving from one part to another part of the country, who are not able to afford the fare of bullet train or Vande Bharat train. Dynamic pricing is there. So why don't we subsidize the fare instead of wasting this much amount on bullet train or Vande Bharat or Amrit Bharat, whatever it is?
So steps are taken parallelly only. Other steps are also being taken, like Garib Rath trains have been started, and
Garib Rath train was started way back.
Like means the upgradation of facilities also going in these trains also, and many new trains are launched. But eventually, I in my opinion, these trains like super fast trains will be affordable for the middle class also in the near term.
All right, thank you.
It serves a purpose because people will go in the morning from Ahmedabad, have a drink in Bombay and come back same day. Yes, Chandni.
Thank you, Sameer.
Okay, hello Sameer.
Hello, ma'am.
So your optional is sociology. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so tell me one thing that, and you are also working. So in this year, repo rate is also unchanged.
Yes,
that is all 6.5%.
Yes,
so if repo rate is unchanged, so what it means in the context of economy? Suppose that I am not aware about that how economy runs, but I listen that repo rate unchanged 6.5%. So what it means?
For the normal consumer, it means the following. Firstly, if the person has taken some retail loan like a car loan or maybe a home loan, so the EMIs will not be costlier for that person. That will be there. Secondly, there is also an expectation among the people that inflation is high and it needs to be controlled. So,
If repo rate is unchanged, it means inflation is high.
means the central.
Are you sure?
It depends on the stance of the central bank also. Like the central bank has said withdrawal of accommodation. So it means that excess liquidity is in the market. So the bank will keep the rates unchanged. So to set the inflation expectations also. Like the bank wants to bring that to the mark. It is currently at a higher level than the tolerance limit of the institution.
Okay. Recently, you heard about the Uttarakhand problem, Haldwani crisis. Maybe you heard about that.
Yes, ma'am.
So, in case that the terminology of the reason behind that is Nazul land.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what is that?
Sorry, ma'am. I heard the term Nazul land, but I am not aware of what it means.
Okay. You are also engineer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, recently, in news, Raman Research Institute, a research came out that is about the ultra cold atoms. Are you aware about that? That may be helpful, and that this may be work, especially in different sector, like in defense sector, in defense other sector also, ultra cold atoms.
Sorry, ma'am. I have not heard of this. I will just read it through once.
Okay. You are also extracurriculum activities. You are also volunteer in child shelter.
Yes, ma'am.
So, especially tell me that somehow we can also see some safeguard parameters in child shelter, especially somehow some cases that is from Bihar also and some other state also. So, what is your opinion regarding that? Is child shelter, especially for female child, is really safe for them?
Ma'am,
Or how can we improve?
Ma'am, I have been associated with a child shelter home, and in that child shelter home, it was very much safe for the females also. But yes, I have heard news about the sexual harassment of girls there in the child shelter homes by even the authorities itself. So, following steps can be taken to.
What kind of steps can we take?
Firstly, ma'am, technology, use of CCTVs, social media, or maybe mobile phones for reporting such cases. Secondly, awareness among the children itself, that what is appropriate or inappropriate contact. Children are not aware of these things. Lastly, anybody who has a history of being involved in such activities or maybe involved with these crimes should not be allowed to be a part of these shelter homes. A proper criminal background check should be there for the people.
Okay. Recently, we already organized India Renewable Energy Week.
Yes,
India
ma'am.
Energy Week
Yes,
also. So, biofuel. So, we can see that biofuel we consider as the future. Okay. And especially in petrol, we increase the number of ethanol also.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what is your opinion regarding that? That is biofuel or the ethanol, use of ethanol is actually work for a low carbon emission?
It's a welcome step, ma'am, because 20% ethanol will reduce the emissions. Secondly, it will also prevent food wastage. Thirdly, remunerative prices for the farmers for their produce can be there. So it's a welcome step because it will reduce the dependency of oil also that we are importing. So it is a good start that the government has taken, and I'm glad that they have reached the 20%. They are going to reach the 20% target by 2025.
Okay. Is electric vehicles is really future for low carbon emission?
Yes, ma'am. Their future is if you use the renewable energy for their charging up, then they are good.
But right now we also consider as a hybrid car that this is also a very good option as compared to electronic vehicles.
Recently, I read a newspaper article, ma'am, that said that hybrid vehicles are even better. I cannot remember what are the assertions given, but yes, it has mentioned that hybrid vehicles are better than the EVs as compared to emissions are concerned.
So what is your opinion, especially in the context of EVs in India?
In my opinion, EVs will have better, lower emissions and better utilization of electricity.
But right now we don't have any large number of charging station.
Yes, ma'am. Charging infrastructure is an issue, and storage batteries is also an issue. But the government has brought many schemes like about charging infrastructure, and also battery swapping schemes have been brought. So I'm very optimistic about the success of this mission.
Okay, sir.
Hello, Sameer.
Hello, sir.
Can you tell me what is satellite internet?
Satellite internet is a service that allows you to access the internet through a network of satellites.
Network of satellites.
Yes.
And what is the frequency difference between, say, 5G spectrum and satellite spectrum? How much is the frequency difference?
Sir, I know about the 5G spectrum. It is around low band is less than 6 gigahertz and high band is above 95 gigahertz. But I'm not aware about satellite one.
Okay.
Sorry.
And what range of spectrum do they fall? What kind of waves are they? Infrared, ultraviolet, radio?
Radio waves, sir. Radio.
They are all radio waves.
Yeah.
Okay. And communication is it possible to, transmit information through any other kind of waves? Why are we using radio waves?
Sorry, sir, I cannot recall that.
Okay, all right. The government has come up with a policy that they will administrative allocation. They have used that term, allocation for a spectrum. But for 5G, they had auctioned. Any reason for this difference in policy?
So now after the 2G spectrum scam that has happened, they are going for this tender-based allocation only.
That is for 5G. Yes. Why satellite spectrum is being allocated, not auctioned?
No, sorry, sir, I have not read this anywhere.
Okay, all right, no issues. So earlier you said that NEFT and RTGS, they are chargeable. There was a debate some time back whether charges should be levied on UPI as well. But then the finance minister intervened. She said that it's a digital public good. So do you agree that UPI should be kept free of charge?
So the idea of UPI was to promote small scale transactions. So in that small scale transaction should be kept out of the charges to promote the digital financial economy.
Okay, but don't you think that the services or the platforms which are providing these services, they have to undertake expenses, like you said. RTGS, yes, they have to maintain infrastructure. So don't you think that they need to be compensated?
Sir, actually the backend is NEFT RTGS only. What we see is UPI, but the banks use the NEFT RTGS route only to settle transaction among themselves. So they are already charging for that. So
you are saying that the cost, whatever cost is, because the backbone is same.
Yes, sir.
So the cost is not per se, or maybe they can pass it on to the.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So by that logic, you say that it has to be extended.
Yeah,
okay. And what is the public good term that she used? What do you understand by public good?
Public good is something that is non-excludable. It will not reduce by if somebody else is using. Like
non-excludable.
Non-excludable.
And any other feature of it? There are multiple parameters.
Three parameters. Non-excludable is there, non-reducible, and lack of competition.
Okay, it's all right. Thank you, Sameer. That's all from my side. I'll pass on to you.
Thanks a lot, Sameer. We will just call you for feedback. Formal interview is over. First of all, sit straight.
Okay.
You sit like this, ready to jump.
Okay.
Sit straight, it'll give you more confidence also.
Okay.
Always sit straight, full height. Second, speak up a little bit with your mouth as a conversation is happening. You tend to sit like this and you tend to rattle off consciously. Okay. You're having a conversation.
Okay.
Thirdly, think and reply.
Okay.
Sometimes you don't have to shoot off the hip straight away, because there are questions where you need to think and structure your thoughts.
Okay.
This is general truth. Fourth rule, look at both sides of an opinion question. Don't just jump to one, because then you can get caught. You see what the board does often is they test you. So if you take con, they'll do the pro. And then, but what about this? Then either you get into an argument or you withdraw that you didn't have your own, you cannot hold your own. So it's always a good ploy to say both sides, mindful of the fact that there's another side to the picture. There are two sides. Okay, remember that.